Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today on the Act Advantage webinar. Act Advantage was launched on April 15th, so just over a month ago, and had a very strong start to it. We've converted a lot of customers over. We did a webinar late in April, and I thought it was time for a recap. There's been some updates I wanted to cover, and I did get a report that a lot of people weren't able to make the first one, so here is our encore presentation. Okay, so what is the agenda? The agenda today, and just jump to the next screen. The agenda is what is Act Advantage, the features to be featured, and then the commercial details. Okay, so what is the new Act Advantage? So the Act Advantage is comprised of a number of components. The basic foundation is Act Premium Cloud. Act Premium Cloud has been around 3-4 years, and it was the evolution from Act CRM Classic that basically provided a SaaS solution with on-premise syncing options. Then next is marketing automation. I'm going to get into that separately. Third is the mobile access with Act Mobile. It was recently rebranded Act Mobile from Act Premium Cloud Mobile. This is obviously a bit more pithy. And then accounting integration. We're going to demo that. I think that this is a very powerful inclusion. Custom tables. We're not really going to cover that. Custom tables has been around a long time, but we're going to cover the commercial features of Act Advantage as it relates to custom tables. And then the Linktivity Suite. If you don't know what Linktivity Suite is, you will know by the end of this demo, okay? So this is a little GIF that we built, but basically Act Advantage creates an ecosystem that involves appointment settings, custom tables, web forms, email list verifications, event management, reporting and analytics, online surveys, accounting integration, customer support, URL shorteners, interactive quotes, online chats, customer portals, project management. Wow, I'm going to have to take a breath and we barely got started. So this is a fair bit that is being added, and this is why we're so excited because a lot of these features are being added for the same cost as Act Premium Cloud. So a ton of extra value with virtually no extra price increase. Okay, so let's get started. So as I said, the Act Premium Cloud is the foundation of it. So we log into Act Premium Cloud. We've got the the main introduction screen. But let me just back up a little bit. Act Advantage, as I said, Act Advantage is being offered in the standard tier for the same price as Act Premium Cloud in terms of the first tier. But the difference between Act Premium Cloud and Act Advantage is that there's 2 additional tiers that include different levels of sales, marketing, and productivity features. Okay, so the first one is standard, okay, which I discussed. And I'm just going to go over here and kind of scroll down so that you guys can see that we've got the standard tier, we've got the professional tier, and we've got the ultimate. Now, if you go to our, gettheadvantage.net, you will go directly to this page and you can scroll down and review the feature comparison charts, okay, as well as a lot of the material that we'll be covering today. Here's some flipper pages where you can see the detailed feature differences between each tier, the cost differences, and some of the upgrade options. As well, down here, this was the first webinar, and we'll replace it with this one. And then additional videos that we've done or Act is done, okay? So as I said, 3 tiers. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to, now that I've covered this, go back to Act Premium Cloud. Okay, so here we are. What you're going to see here is we've got a new modern layout. We've got new accounting drop downs, which is up here. We'll get to that in a second. A nav bar menu for contacts, companies, and groups. This was just changed last month, where you're now seeing a lot of these features collapsed into one. So you see, now you click on here, instead it used to have contacts, companies, and groups stacked. Now they are nested under each other. Much better and more efficient use of space. And as you're going to see, there's additional features being added along here. So they had to economize the menu. And then here we've got the calendars and the task list. Okay. Now there has been different, and I'll just show you here. They've got this new pop-up screen, and I'm just going to just create a very quick activity. Okay, actually, I think I did it in the past here. Yeah, let me go here, do it later, select it for me, and I will do it again here. Lunch meeting, and we'll just say, let's invite Betty Browser. Well, if I could spell Betty, there, Betty, okay, and we're not going to add any other details. Okay, okay, let me just go to daily here. I think I may have a filter on this. Yeah, I do. That's why. Okay, so what I wanted to show here is that one of the new features is that you can drag activities around. You can also copy and schedule them here. So you're able to manage calendars in a much more drag and drop way than you were previously. Okay, this was a feature that was added in, just before or just around the time of the April launch. So I wanted to show you that. One of the other things was in terms of calendars. Okay, or in terms of contacts. You also now have clickable. Click on here. It will actually dial the phone for you. Okay, and this click to dial functionality has been something that people have been asking for quite a bit since version 24, when the old 32-bit dialer got deprecated. So now this is available in the web as well. Okay, so those are some of the Act Premium Cloud features that were included, but now I want to transition to Act Advantage. Now, one of the things that you're going to see that is a theme for us is that we divide Act Advantage into three primary segments: marketing, sales, and productivity. The way we express it is get more leads, get more deals, get more done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to demo the features in those segments. Okay, so let's go back. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with sales. Okay, and the way we access the sales features is we go here, we click on additional features, and this shows us our new menu. This is totally new, and you can see here, if we go to the Linktivity, it's got similar type menu systems. Okay. Now, for those that aren't familiar, Linktivity was developed by Keystroke, purchased by Act, and incorporated in to be one of the major new components of Act Advantage. Okay. So now here we go. We've got sales, marketing, okay, and we, as I said, brand it a little bit differently and talk about productivity. But the first thing is let's start on online appointment scheduling. Okay, now what is online appointment scheduling? It's similar to Calendly. The online scheduling tool allows users to share their availability via a unique link. We're going to show you all that. Clients can then book appointments directly, triggering automatic calendar updates, reminders, and invites. It streamlines the scheduling process, prevents double bookings, and the advanced version supports even payment collection for billable meetings and group meetings. Okay, so let's drill into this. I've already set up the, my personal calendar here, so I'm going to click on here. Okay, and the basic settings is, you can see here, I've set my meeting slots to be 60 minutes here, duration. Okay, I've extended the ability for people to book me more than that. I've said the activity type is going to be call. Now the location, what I've done is I've put my virtual room in here so that when people book the meeting, and it's mostly calls, they will be sent out this join link. which they would not otherwise have. So this avoids that additional back and forth. This was a feature request from another ACC. It was a great idea, so we included it in here. Now everyone that books a meeting with me gets this as part of their Outlook invite. Okay, so here it is. Set the priority. You can click on here and allow them to set the priority. That way you get a sense if it's a little bit more urgent. I've actually set the group here for all people that book meetings with me to be put into a particular group. And here is where I ask what kind of information they have. Now, the advanced version allows you to send a reminder, and I've said send a reminder 60 minutes, and I've used the reminder template. For the sake of time, I can't really get into all of them, but just to give you a sense of what it looks like, let's do a preview. Okay, it's telling me right here, your current time zone is set to UTC. Okay, I'm not going to fiddle back and forth with this, but here's your different time zone options, and this is showing me my availability. Now, because I've listed myself as only available in during the weekdays, none of the previous days, because you can't book anything in the past, and none of the weekends are available. So this allows me to see all the availability I've got here. Now, if I want to go to just daily, it would look like this. If someone books it, pops up, sees my picture up there, they can put in their details. And the nice thing is when they enter in this information here, remember I told you they can do their priority here. They enter in the information here, it's going to check against the email. If the email is matched in the database, then it will link that activity to that existing contact. If not, it will create a new contact in your database. That's why it's useful for lead generation. From a sales perspective, it's also, these calendar links are used very aggressively in prospecting. Okay, so where you send out emails and say, here, use this to book an appointment, and it really does accelerate the sales cycle. It eliminates a lot of what we call email ping pong, where people are going back and forth trying to pick a time. Now, as I said, the advanced version allows you to also charge for this. So whether you're in the trades, or you want to book your time, like let's say that you're a groomer or a dog walker or something like that, people can book times with you and actually pay for them at the same time. It is an exclusive feature of the advanced version, so only available in the top 2 tiers, but it's really handy and especially important for small businesses that want to monetize their time. Okay, so now we're going to go back here. And you can do short URLs, make them nice and friendly. And then here on the availability, you get to set the time. Okay. You can even click on this and set individual times for each day. Unless maybe you've got afternoon shifts that are only available one day of the week. Most people will just have like 9 to 5 and they can set it here. Okay. But this is where you set your availability. And you can also set blacklist days. I've just put in here Christmas as an example, and now no one can book me during that time. Okay, I set the alarm, I set buffer times. I may not want to have meetings going back to back. So if I put in 5 minutes and let's say one meeting ends at 12:30, the person can't book another meeting until 1 o'clock. So that gives me a bit of breathing time. Okay, and then this here will list all of the people that have booked um, meetings with me, and here is the emails that I can send out. And just very standard emails. We've got little merge fields here, but let's see what this looks like in actual production here. Okay, so if I go into my link to calendar, I can see all of my groups. And if I go into here, always have to remind people that we're on Starlink and there's always going to be some latency. So as I said, we have incorporated all of the linktivity features into Act Advantage. So we're going to pivot back and forth to show you what it looks like on a production basis. So here's all my settings for mine. Okay, if I wanted to preview it, you're going to see here, and you can see my availability. I've got 2 slots in the afternoon. They can book that. But what I wanted to show you was the submissions. Okay, you could see lots and lots of submissions because our entire team is part of this workspace. I can click here and see my submissions. Okay, so we've been using this for a while, so this list is fairly lengthy. Okay, so let's go with that. Go back to the additional features, and let's go continue our sales theme and go into quotes. Now, I think you'll agree there's not much that's more sales related than quoting. So the quoting feature allows you to create a quote, pull in the contact, deliver the quote, have a robust list of products, and it will create the opportunity in ACT. It will close it with a won or lost outcome, and you will get an indication of every person that engages with your quotes. Now here is this is a demo database with Betty Browser again, so I'll just give you a quick look on what this looks like. And here's what the quote will look like. These are customizable in terms of colors, translations, logos, anything you like. I've just created a very simple one. You can see here, you can expand here, put this into a hyperlink that, let's say, goes over to a product page, whichever. So this is a really interactive quote. Now, what I'll show you is here, if we go to dashboard, okay, we see that this one quote was created, but I am looking at it in the same browser session, so it's not registering it as a view. But if I go into here and I click on Google, I'm just going to just show you what that looks like over here. Okay, so now you can see I've seen it in another browser. It no longer recognizes it as part of the same session. So if I go back here and I go to interactive quotes, it's now shown that I've viewed it. Okay, that's what the interactive part is about. And if I go here and I accept the quote, and I'll just put in Betty at whatever.com. Okay, and it's tracking my IP, the date, the time. Okay, I've set in this security, which I forgot about. Okay, and now it's going to be emailing Betty at whatever.com. I can go in and I can disable that feature. Okay, under settings, there is an enhanced security option. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Save and close. And now if I try to go back in, accept quote. Yeah, it's got to be a different session here. So let me. Okay, so quote has been accepted. Here's my message. The person can download it, view it, whichever. But if I go back here, okay, I can now see that it's accepted instantly, okay, showing me to the second, and that has also closed the opportunity that was created in ACT. And that's the interactive quote feature. If you get the advanced version, you also get detailed reporting, okay, to show you what, this reporting is great, but, again, it is something that is based on demo data. If we go over here, we can see a much more robust amount of data. Just give me a moment. And it shows you all the KPIs, the number of open quotes, the total value, weighted total, minimum, maximum, average. And because we quote in both CAD and USD, it even breaks down the quotes in those different currencies. Okay. Come on. Now, the advanced reporting feature is only available in the advanced tiers. So that means Pro and Premium, or Pro and Ultimate, I should say. Sorry, I keep hoping that my internet will not trip us up, but it is slow. So just wait for it. Now, the activity dashboard, as I told you before, will display all the activity. So here is the reporting. You can see, much more detailed than what you saw before, breaks down the entire team results, the count, the value, the margin, the minimum, the maximum, the average, and it even shows you, in charts the average. So this is really, useful information for a sales team that wants to, compete against each other and also see live results. Now, if I go over here, which should be a little bit faster, you can see the green ones represent closed deals, okay? And you can see here, any of mine here, you can see the number of views, okay? So now let's go. The other thing that you can do is you can actually build your calendar link into it, into the quote. So if I wanted, let me just go in here, view the quote, okay? So you have click here to book a time with me to discuss. One of the people that I just showed you actually booked a meeting with me. So this quote, his quote is going to be discussed tomorrow morning, and it's all part of the same workflow. I sent him a quote. He clicked on this, booked another meeting, and you can see the synergy between all the features, supporting each other. Okay. Now let's go back to individuals. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up the sales part. Okay, so now we're going to get into marketing. Now, before we cover, these things, obviously the biggest part is going to be around e-marketing. Okay, now from a, now I'll just quickly go up here, acting marketing and marketing automation. Okay, if you want to look up on our website, you can click here. Okay, go here and look up Act Marketing Automation. But it's been rebranded, and I'll explain why. Act Marketing Automation, let me describe what it is. AMA is a powerful e-marketing tool inside of Act that enables personalized e-marketing, response-driven nurture marketing, lead scoring, customer segmentation, and real-time analytics. AMA was launched in 2018 as an integration into Act, and despite it being a big upgrade over SwiftPage eMarketing and Act eMarketing at the time, it failed to be widely adopted due to the perception it was too complex because people didn't even know what Act marketing or what marketing automation was. And it was also perceived to be a lot more expensive. Neither one of them is true, but with Act Advantage, we're repackaging them all into 3 tiers within Act Advantage. The first one, just scrolling on down, the first one is standard e-marketing, and it's free with the standard tier, okay? The second one is advanced e-marketing. This was previously select, and this would allow you 25,000 sends. It would allow you decision trees. It would allow you, reasonably complex outbound campaigns. That is still available to buy a la carte, but it's included free with the middle tier of Act Advantage, namely the Pro tier. And then the third one is actually being called marketing automation because it is. It includes outbound nurture campaigns and inbound CRM workflow. This used to cost roughly $200 a month as an add-on. I know that seems expensive, but this was available to everyone in the account. And you're going to see that in some cases, it actually makes more sense to buy it separately. But if you go up to the ultimate tier, this is included free. Okay, and we're going to get into some of the economics later, but this is basically the breakdown of it. And I'll just give you a quick look here. So I've clicked on here. It showed me the campaigns, email templates. I could spend an hour or more covering just this section, but I'm just going to give you a peek at what it looks like. Okay, so what this is this is what we call the visual workflow. It looks like an organization chart. It looks like it's probably a lot more complicated than it is, but let me explain. So This chain basically means that this particular email is scheduled to go out on July 26th. Now this is in draft mode, so it's not going to do anything. And then what it's going to do is after it goes out, it's going to wait 3 days and then send out a second email. That's called a drip, okay? And then it's going to wait 5 days before it makes a decision, okay? And we don't know what that decision is going to be, so we can actually go in here and we can see if someone has clicked on a particular link, then that is going to be a yes. That's going to go into the yes branch. So I'm going to go back. So if they clicked on that link in the second email, then we're going to add an additional action. Okay. And that action is going to be create an activity in Act, call this customer based on them clicking in the email campaign. That's what we call inbound workflow. Okay. We've sent out an email. We've waited for them to respond, and then it's scheduled the sales follow-up and Act. And this is what I call transitioning from digital marketing touches to analog sales follow-ups. This is actually being scheduled into Act and is only available in the top tier because it includes a inbound CRM workflow. And then we wait 5 days, send another email, and then the end of the campaign. If they didn't do anything, then the campaign ends for them. Okay, that's what the marketing um, all the different e-marketing tiers include. If you are in the free one, then you will get the ability to schedule campaigns and drips. If you get the second tier, what was previously select and now it's called advanced e-marketing, you'll get this decision feature, okay? And then if you get the top tier, you'll get the ability to schedule activities as part of the campaign. So this campaign is kind of a good illustration of the limits of all three of those, okay? Now let's go back. That's obviously the first component in the marketing tier, where what we say get more leads. Now we're going to go back here and we're going to talk about surveys. Okay. Surveys are the first thing that are included in the marketing after the e-marketing. And let me just show you, this is an incredibly basic one. I've had, I'll just say again, quickly, and I'll click on continue. Okay. It's one step. I've got drop downs, I've got a memo, and then I can continue. Okay. But what is this? As the name suggests, surveys is a survey creation tool. You've just seen the most basic one. It's designed to collect customer feedback through customizable branded surveys. Obviously, this doesn't have strong branding. It supports dynamic question paths, sometimes also called skip logic. It updates CRM records automatically. It identifies leads. That's a really key part. And it triggers follow-ups with multilingual support and detailed reporting. It also enhances marketing, sales, and decision-making through actionable insights. When you start standard, you get one per account. When you get to the advanced one, the advanced two tiers, Pro or Ultimate, then every single user in your team gets an account. Okay. Now let's see what that looks like. I'm going to close some of these windows because you've seen a very basic one. But if I go into, let's say, I'll go into here. I'm going to go into the sandbox mode because the sandbox mode allows me to test it. Okay, this one, as you can see, is a little bit, this is what I wanted to show you, a bit more branded. Okay. Now you can see all the different question types. You've got stars, okay. You've got drop downs, okay. Now, depending on what some of these responses are, you can see here, I'm on the question section. Now watch what happens, okay. I've answered the questions appropriately that it's going to advance me to this next one. But let's go back here and say, nope, okay. I'm a desktop lover. Okay. None of the above. And what it's going to do, it's going to jump to the next one. Sorry, I've got this pausing here. This normally is due to my internet. You can see it going here. Let me just check here to see if there's questions while we're waiting. Okay. Okay, so Bill asked, does Keystroke Dash work with Linktivity? Two very different things, okay? Keystroke Dash is what we call an SDK program. It works only with local data, okay? So it is going to be able to grab, histories and notes and activities and things like that, and opportunities and report on that. Linktivity will, things like link to quotes. See, this actually closed it because I answered in a way that, I showed no interest. So I configured this survey to just go right to the end, okay? Because I said it in the questions, I'm not interested in anything. Therefore, I don't care about any of his other answers. And it brought me right to the end, okay? But back to your question, Bill, to the extent that something like link to quotes would populate and update the pipelines, that would be where Dash would kick in, where it would actually reflect the changes there, okay? How do I enter the product into the quote? Chandler, it's a good question. You'll notice that I'm not doing a particularly deep dive on any of these features because we've got 10 features and an hour to cover them, but I'm happy to show you. If we go into here, interactive quotes, and I go into edit the quote, here's where my line items are, okay? And what I do is I click on here. I could add any number of things, attachments, videos, images, text, headers, subheaders. I could add bundles, all kinds of things. As many of you guys have know from attending my previous ones, I can do 1 to 2 hours on quotes alone. So I just click on here and I just imported in the database in advance here. So save, okay. I've already closed this. Great. I already closed this one, so the API prevents me from updating a closed opportunity. So it's blocking me, but that's how I'd add it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so getting back to the surveys. So here, this one finished itself. Okay, and you can then create an answer page that gives them, links to more information, or click here to access our online calculator, okay, which we're going to get into later. Okay, so let's move on to web forms. Web forms is, an extremely common and frequently used lead generation tool. Everyone uses them. You'd be hard pressed to find a website without some kind of web form. Here is ours on the homepage. It's in the footer, so it's on every one. This is actually using the link to forms feature. Okay, scrolling up to the top, the previous page that I was on, it had a contact screen down the side. Okay, and you can actually present them in a number of different ways. We go to web forms here. You can add them in, under single column, or you can add them into full page. Be mindful that you don't want to ask too many contact field questions if them filling out is in your interest. If it's a job application, things like that, ask for all the information in the world, because in that case, it's in their interest to fill out. Okay, but if you're trying to get leads, you don't want to create too high a barrier to entry. Okay, so it can be entered like this. We call this embedded HTML. And what this is in the background, it's an iframe pasting in some code that I'm going to show you how to generate from link to forms. Okay, and then you can also surface them through buttons or different things. But let's go back to the web forms. Now, Link to Forms is a lead generation tool that enables users to create customizable web forms, as I just showed you, for newsletter signups, quote requests, surveys, and more. It captures customer data directly into Act. So one of the things we used to say to people is, why would you want a third-party program that spits out emails at you that you have to stop whatever you're doing in the middle of the day, enter in the contact information, and schedule a follow-up? Link to Forms or the Forms feature does all of that in one step. If it's a new contact, it adds the contact to the database, alerts you, and schedules a follow-up. So all of those things are done in the background, and you just open up and follow your tasks. Okay. So now I'm going to go into here. You can see here, I'm just going to enable this. I've got my image here. I can put in introductory text. I can set in whatever layout features I want. Require CAPTCHA, always do this. If you don't want to put in a CAPTCHA, make sure it's existing contacts only, because otherwise your database will be polluted with contacts generated by bots. Okay. But if you do select this, even on top of this, then it won't create any new contacts. It will just, it will reject any ones that are not recognized in your database by the email that they provide. Okay. And so here's all your options. Here is the embedded code. Okay. So just to kind of show you, I'm going to copy this. And if I was to pull up Notepad, it would look like this. Okay, you don't need to know what this means. I can look at it and say, I understand that there are certain components, like when I say width 100%, what that means is depending on how many columns you assign the iframe, it's going to expand to fit that. Okay, it's also designed to take whatever space vertically as well. But the nice thing is you never have to update your website where the form is. You just go here, you can add fields, add questions, and it will automatically update wherever that embedded HTML is, because the form is linked, is just this embedded HTML is going to reflect whatever features you have in this form. So let's take a look at what that would look like. Here's all the contact fields. Here's the questions, and you can ask any, like if I want to add a different type of question, I can have an open-ended drop-down checkbox, a number one, date, slider, rating scale. We saw the stars. File uploads, really good for HR people that want people to be able to upload their resume. You can even have a digital signature so that if you have a waiver posted on your website, they can digitally sign it, and that gets written as a record to your contact record. Okay, all of these different options. So really, really flexible. You can control the appearance of it. The compact is typically used for single column ones that I showed you a couple of, especially at the bottom of our page. And you can make it transparent. You can change the color themes, whatever, to fit into the look and feel of your website. Okay. We even have one that is good for waivers because it actually looks like it has a kind of a printable feel to it. But if I go here, you can see I've added an um, orange border. I've added my picture up here, and this is a full page link. So as I said, you can surface these forms in two ways. One, I've shown you on the embedded HTML, but if you want to just put in an H reference or a button with a link in it, then you can put this address in here and it will pop open to full screen, or you can set it up to go up in a window like a light box and it will display it like that. Okay. So however it works for you, obviously the longer forms, like job applications, it would probably be better in a dedicated window. Okay. But every single feature, every single person that engages with this is going to either update existing contacts or create new contacts. So this is such a powerful lead generator. And I tell people whenever we are looking to a new prospect or an existing customer, we always go to their website. We check to see if there's any web forms, and we say, like, where is this data going? Okay, is it going directly into your database? And we know it isn't. Or is it just being spit out at some hapless employee that has to stop whatever they're doing to update their database. Okay. Considering that this is now included free with all versions of Act Standard, this is pretty powerful. Okay. So a real core lead generation tool that we've been using for a long time. Okay. Now, what's the difference between this version that comes with standard and the advanced version that comes with Pro and Ultimate? First of all, Pro and Ultimate get a license for every single user. And this version also includes the ability to generate an opportunity. Now, why would that be useful? Well, if you've got a quote request form, you can actually have people submit a request for a quote, and it will create the corresponding opportunity for that contact. So again, another step that's skipped, just populating it. And you've got, because I can tell you, having employed salespeople for a long time, there's no problem in them creating quotes. It's often a chore getting them to create opportunities and manage them. Okay, so both link to quotes and link to forms, do them in the same step. Okay. And then the last difference is you can set up drip emails where if they complete a form, you can actually set up a sequence of emails down here. Okay. You can set up any number of drips, set them, go out at the same day, have a second one go out another day, and so on and so forth. So you can really nurture each and every single, respondent to a web form. Okay. Obviously, the use cases are going to be different depending on the business, but it's nice to have those clubs in your bag in terms of maximizing every lead. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to go to the one that this was the second product introduced with Linktivity, and pretty obscure to a lot of people, but we identified a need for it right away because we were doing webinars like this one, and you guys actually responded to our sign up page for this. So you know how it works. That sign up page that you guys got, you entered in your contact information, and it updated our database. Okay, so we're going to go into online event management. Now, Link to Events is an all-in-one event management solution. It simplifies the planning of webinars, training sessions, and virtual events by publishing the sign-up page, which you guys saw, processing the RSVPs, which was on the back end of what you did. It sends out reminders, which you guys should have all received, and it includes calendar syncing. What I mean by that is I can change the details of like the dates or times of something I've scheduled and linked to events, and it will also update my calendar in Act. Okay. And similarly, if I move it in Act, it will update the link to events as well as the link to events sign up page showing the updated time. Okay. Now, let me show you what this looks like. View event. Okay. This one's already over. Now, if we go into the my production and we actually look at the events here, we can see down the, okay, we had 35 people register for this. Okay, I can view the event. This should be closed as well. Yeah. Okay, I can go into it. You can see how I designed it. I set the time, and the second I did, it updated Act. I was the organizer. Okay, I assigned a group so that every person that signed up went into that group, new contact or existing. Okay, I set the activity type. Now this is just going to pull from your activity types in Act. We created one called webinar that works for us. I added in pictures, upcoming events. Now I've put in the event location. So this was the specific meeting location. And this brings up the real power of Link to Events. When you are doing these kinds of things, without Link to Events, you're typically forced to go to not a meeting service like what this one is, but a webinar service. Now, a webinar service costs 5 to 10 times as much as a meeting service. But what is the difference? Well, with a meeting service, if I have a meeting with one of my employees, I send them out the link. That's it. I'm not trying to drum up attendance. The people that are invited to the meeting are expected to show up. But if I'm hosting an event like this, I'm trying to drum up the attendance. I don't know how many people are going to sign up for that, okay? And if I'm using a meeting service, there isn't a sign up page. I can only distribute the join link. So once that I've sent out, let's say I emailed out 500 people the join link, I have no idea how many people are going to show up. But if I send out an invite that requires them to sign up before they get the join link, okay, then I know that only the people that signed up will get the join link, and I will know precisely what to expect and prepare in terms of attendance. Okay, so that's one of the big differences. Now, the follow-up things like the meeting reminders and the sign-up pages and all of that, those are only available in webinar services, and we used to subscribe to it. It costs $150 a month for GoToWebinar, okay, and Zoom has the same pricing structure. This meeting service is $20 a month. So you are getting all of the features of a webinar service that normally costs $150 to $200 a month, okay? And you're getting them with your meeting service of $20, $25 a month and link to events. What's the difference? Even the $150 one doesn't integrate with Act. It stores all the signups and you've got to then import them into your CRM, okay? This does everything. So you've got the $20, $25 package that's doing the work of a $150 to $200 package, and then neither of them provide the Act integration that Link to Events provides, okay? What's cool about this? It's included free with every single tier of Act Advantage. So this is where you get a real sense of, how powerful of a tool set you're getting with Act Advantage, because you're getting all these extra marketing, sales, and productivity features. Okay. Now, if I wanted to scroll down and say, and you could see that we've had some, if I went here, if I clicked here, I can say, view submissions, and I can see all the people that signed up. Okay, it's super handy. Okay, I'm just going to switch my screen because I don't want to display people's names. Okay, but that's it, and it's all arranged inside this screen. Okay, within Act Advantage Online. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, even as we're talking, I got a newsletter sign up notification, another person signing up to receive our newsletter, which is now, if they were in our database, it was an update to an existing contact, or I just had a contact created. Okay, and let me just actually pull that up. Okay, and this is what it would look like. Okay, so someone just signed up and they're in. So I got notified, a new person in the database. Okay. So we've covered online surveys, web forms, online appointments, link shortener. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but if you work with a lot of marketing, a lot of people on social media, they have to use short, easy to remember links, so that, if I go here, and I'm just going to click on this here. Okay, what I've done is I've created a short little link for my calendar that's easy to remember. I can just tell people what it is. And you can see that once it resolves, it becomes this long, very difficult to understand or remember URL. But before then, it's something nice and short. Okay, now I know this seems a little alphanumeric and difficult to memorize, but this was an auto-generated one. If I go back here, this is test for video. Okay, so what this was a template that we sent out as part of a campaign. We used the AMA feature called social sharing to get the full URL. Now you could not use this anywhere. Okay, people would look at this; it would be impossible to remember. And if you used it in things like LinkedIn and Facebook, often they would strip it out or they would convert it. But sometimes if they strip it out, you're going to be talking about a link that people can't see. So that's going to be unhelpful. So this took this long link, converted into an easy to remember URL, and that's the link shortener. However, the real power of it is being able to track click-through. So you may want to use one URL for Facebook, another one for an e-marketing campaign, whichever, and you can actually then see how effective it is. Okay, I'll go back to mine. Okay, if I go into link to shrink here, okay, so this was a sign up. We go here, I can see all the results, and this is giving me pretty detailed, and I can see that 92 of the hits came from unknown, okay, and sometimes you just can't track them, but you can see, you know, what percentage was consumed on what. So I can see 44 of the hits, or 39.29%, were consumed on Android. That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that. Okay, so that's the main two values of the link shortener. Okay, is referral tracking, marketing tracking, so you know where your referral sources are, and then to just keep them as human-friendly links. Okay, the email list verification. This should go without saying. If you want to take advantage of marketing automation and send out lots of emails, regardless of the, you know, let's say that you get the select tier or the middle tier, that's 25,000 emails. The top tier is going to be 50,000. You know, just because you have that many emails doesn't mean that they're safe to send. If you send out and have a high bounce rate, there's very real life consequences to that, not the least of which is it will hurt your sender reputation, reduce your deliverability, and potentially even compromise your AMA account. Because if you have a consistent bounce rate of above 5%, that impacts other AMA users, and ACT has to shut that down. So you can find your account suspended or even canceled if you don't take corrective action. So we have an email list verification that is designed to scan your database and verify every particular contact in the group that you select, okay, and assign them a deliverability rating. And what I mean by that is the email valid? Is it invalid? Is it accept all? Okay, and accept all is a little arcane to some people, but basically what it means is the email address is deliverable, but it is it's part of a wild card. So you can put anything at domain.com and it will be delivered because they've set up their email servers to accept, you know, to a general delivery mailbox, maybe mistyped emails. Okay. And then the last one is obviously invalid. So you get valid, invalid, accept all, unknown. Okay. So what it will do is it will create the field in your ACT database. It will create the drop down, and then when you scan it, okay, and I'm going to show you a scan that I actually did this morning. Okay, I'm going to go here, show you how this looks. Okay, we're going to go to lists. So we scroll down here. We just got some leads this morning. Okay, and we created a quick campaign based on visitors to our website, and we harvested the leads from that. And I'm just going to go in here, and you're going to see very, very basic features to this. Now, you can see the stats. We had 82, 41 were valid, 33 were accept all, and then 0 were skipped. Now, the way that the commercials work with this is that you get link to list free of charge with all tiers. If you're on the standard, you get 250 contact scans per month. If you are on the middle tier professional, you get 2,500. If you're on the advanced tier, you get 5,000 per month. Okay. You can buy extras, but because this is a subscription-based service, they're expecting you to use them on a monthly basis. So if you've got, say, 25,000 contacts in your database, maybe you don't want to do them all in the first month, but do 5,000 the first month, 5,000 second, so on and so forth, so you don't have any overage costs. Okay. And again, I apologize for my slow internet here. Okay, so I've given this, I created this morning. I called it Albatross. I created, I selected the group. Now the group is where the contacts exist, okay? And then I said scan mode is only process unverified contacts. In this case, this is, I did everyone this morning, but we're gonna actually, I'm gonna say process all of them. Now, why would I wanna scan contacts that I've scanned previously? Well, think of what's happened in the last 5 years with the pandemic, with different changes with the economy. Lots of people have changed jobs, lost their jobs, and the end effect is that a higher rate of emails are dead than previous. So now we want to make sure that we capture all of that. I'm just going to click on none. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to show you how quickly this scans. Now, keep in mind, all I did was name it. I browsed here. I selected, it pulled my groups. I selected this. Okay. I said, in this case, I'm going to say process all contacts. There's only 82. And now I'm going to click on run. It queues up. Okay. This is ready to run. Press start to go. Okay. Now it's going to treat them all as if they've never been scanned before. Okay. And it's going to go through here. It's queued up the 82 contacts, and you can see how quickly this is. Okay. This is very, very fast, roughly 2 to 3 per second, and all those contacts in the database are being updated, okay, in our database. You can see invalids, you can see accept alls, okay, you can see this one was an error. When you get an error, typically it's the email server itself blocking, us from pinging it, okay, and see here now it's on 82. So what did that take? 15, 20 seconds? And you've got 82, 40 are valid, 32 are accept all. So out of your 82, you've got a 72 that are safe to send, okay? And if you want, you can download the log, okay? And you get a breakdown of all of that. Okay. Now, let's go quickly to web chat, because you probably saw here, go here, we've got website chat. Now this, to a large extent, doesn't require much explanation because most of the websites we go to today have some kind of chat service. We look here, you can see our login here, click on here, you can see admin. I added this recently as part of a demo, I guess I should remove it. Sales and support. Now, one of the reasons that we've broken this down is that we have every single person from every single department have this little alarm going in the background. We don't have to have one person monitoring chat requests for every single department. This allows us to connect to ACT users, okay, and kind of balance the load across all the different departments so one person doesn't have to answer every question for every department, okay? Now, if I go back here, and I'm actually going to go to show you what ours looks like here, chat. Okay, this is what it will look like on your side. Okay, you're going to get this screen showing you all the chat sessions. I see one is ongoing right now. Okay, here is the channels. A channel represents a website. Okay, with the advanced version, you can get one for multiple websites. With the standard version that comes free with standard Act Advantage, you get one user, one one website. So just be mindful of that. That's a significant upgrade to go from Pro and Ultimate in that suddenly you're able to support multiple websites with multiple users. Okay, if I go in here, I'm going to deselect this so people don't think that we're goofy, and I'm going to select. Getting lots of pauses here. Whenever you see this kind of thing, it's typically my internet. Let's go back here. Okay, but now if I see how quickly it responds. Yeah, it's waiting because it's trying to save here. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a demo if I didn't have some latency to complain about. So Let me go back here. While that is, I'll just monitor this here. I'm going to show you guys the accounting integration. We're going to come back again once that's done. Actually, I think it might be done now. Okay, see how this is automatically being removed? If I click on here, I enter in my contact information. So I'm going to just type in Chris Huffman, chris.huffman@keystroke.ca, and test. Okay. I don't know if you heard that. I had a little ding alarm. Okay. Close. And now I've got this one here. And now I can start corresponding. Chris. Okay. And now I'm going back and forth. Now, why would we include all of this? Well, the people that are coming to your website are either customers or prospects. That's the simple truth. You want to be able to capture both. This allows you to not only capture it and identify whether or not you can see here on my side, where is this? Here. So I got too many tabs open. Okay. Okay, so you see here, okay, it's identified. Okay, so what this has allowed me to do is it's captured, it's identified that Chris Huffman is in my database. And now because he's either a customer or a prospect, I can make sure that everything that we talk about, any requests that he makes, all gets recorded to ACT. And if I want, I make sure that this follows up and creates an activity in ACT. So it will write the transcription to history. It will download the transcript. I can email him the a transcript log, including a customer satisfaction survey, okay? And I can even schedule a follow-up. So now the whole process of using a third-party tool that doesn't have that integration allows you to avoid having any leads slip through the cracks. You can have tech support people that may not be thinking, sales like, whereas now they're going to be prompted to create a follow-up based on that. Could even be a support engagement, sell them a support plan, sell them additional licenses, sell them whatever. This is going to prompt them to make sure that that handoff between support and sales is completed. And this can only be done with CRM integration. So we built that in. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the accounting integration. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to look myself up. Now, we sell accounting software, so I really understand this. When you are looking at a contact, it is impossible to appreciate what that person is worth to you, okay, if you don't understand the type of business they have delivered to you, okay? So this is what I call understanding contacts as customers. Now, how can I understand it if I don't see what they've purchased? With this, I can click on the accounting link and it will immediately display all of the business that they've done in years gone by. Okay, it will show their last invoice, and I can quickly see if there's any receivables. This is really important because if I've got someone reaching out to me to buy more stuff and I see that they haven't paid for their last order, this is a really big tell to me that I can pivot over to collections, okay, over to the accounting department to make sure their last deal is settled. Okay, I'm not going to have this without the accounting integration. This is included free with the middle tier and the third tier. You cannot add it as a individual feature at any price with the first tier. Okay, this is only available in web. Okay, so if even if you set up desktop sync, you're only going to see it here. Okay, but this is a pretty powerful feature. Okay. And the last, I mean, there's a couple of things here, but we're about 7 minutes over, so I want to be respectful of people's time here. We covered the click to dial. Let's take a look at the Act Mobile. Okay, so click here. Just going to end the chat. Okay. So if you go to Act Mobile, we've got a video here you can watch. Okay. Um, this is a very powerful feature of Act Advantage where you can get incidents really super fast, unlike my internet. You can get all the contact details you want. Okay. Like here, you can get all the notes, all the histories. You can send out calls and SMS and emails, and all of them will be recorded to history. Okay. You know, here is where you're dialing the numbers. You get detailed calendars. Okay. You're able to flexible view options, really detailed opportunities. Okay. And remember, all the linktivity features that we've discussed are mobile responsive. So I've actually created a quote in the drive-through lineup of a McDonald's, and it was closed, won, and paid for by the time I delivered the food to the kids. Okay, so it's a really, really powerful and flexible tool. Being able to target people with proximity searches, and it is written for both Google and for the App Store. Okay, so iOS and Android. Okay, and this is included free. It's all connected via the API, and I have to hand it to them. We manage our own mobile clients for people that aren't on Act Advantage, and for many, many years gone by, I haven't had much regard for their mobile offering. This is the first one I have to say is impressive. So, and it's included free, which is tough to beat. Okay, so we're back to here. If you wanted to set it up, you just on the accounting side, you just go through this little wizard. It creates some custom table fields in it. Do this doing this after hours. You don't want to boot everyone out of your database, okay? And then you go through the process of linking the contacts to customers and downloads the data. Sorry, I had to jump back to that, so I was just waiting for the thing to finish. Okay, let's do a quick wrap up on this. So the big thing that I want to stress is, and I've captured it in a blog I wrote recently. Let's take a look at the monetary value of what you're getting. Okay, actually, that's not the right blog. Okay, so leave chat, go away. Okay, so let's take a look at the Act Advantage standard tier. The online appointment scheduling is worth roughly $5 per month per user. Interactive quotes, $15 per month. Web forms, $15. Integrated surveys, $15. List verification, $10 a month, plus the contacts scans. Website chat service, that averages around $10 a month. Event management is about $15 a month. So here's the value. With the Act Advantage standard, which is the same price as the premium cloud, you're getting $85 in savings for the first user, okay, and then $20 for every additional user after that. Why is there such a delta? It's because a lot of these features are assigned per account and not per user, okay? But that's a big deal. The online appointment scheduling and the interactive quotes are assigned per user, okay? But each additional user would save $20. So that's a big savings when you multiply that by 12. But let's take a look at the advanced tier, or sorry, the professional tier. $79 a month you're saving in advanced e-marketing, and then $10 a month for online scheduling. It's a bit more expensive because you're getting the advanced feature. And then 20, 20, 20 all the way down. You're actually saving, okay, by increasing the price from $30 to $45, okay? So $15. You're saving $230 on the first user, and you're saving $150 for for every user after that. Now, why is the delta so much smaller compared to the one above? It's because in this one, every single user on your team gets access to all of the features. Unlike this one, many of them are assigned one per account. Okay, and then when you get to the last one, okay, you're looking at $547 because you've got $200 just in the marketing, okay, just on the e-marketing, a $200 option. and then $160 for each user after that. So the savings are quite incredible. Okay, but let's actually pivot back. Okay, and scroll down and let's take a look. Okay, here is the main differences. Okay, so $30, $45, and $60. Let's take a look. Okay, all of them have a full-featured CRM. Standard e-marketing includes 2,500 monthly sends. This includes 25,000. This includes 50. Huge differences. All of them have the mobile access. Here are some key differences that a lot of people overlook. 15 gigabytes of storage, which is what the previous one had. Okay, then you get 10 gigs more. That's $100 worth of value. It's typically $10 per gig, okay, in terms of overages per year, not per user, so it's per account. But normally that extra 10 gigs would be $100, and the 35 gigs would be $200. Okay, if you've got a small user account of 1 to 3 users, that extra little increment of $30, you could spend $90, okay, for 3 users to bump yourself up to this, and you can save $90 per year just on the storage alone. Okay, the online appointment setting included with every tier and for every user, but this one allows you to have the groups. So you can have a appointment scheduling for sales, appointment scheduling for admin, appointment scheduling for marketing, so on and so forth. And you can also charge for appointments. Okay, same thing with here. We talked about the integrated web forms, surveys. This is the advanced features. Okay. The one thing I didn't get into is project management. The reason that we're not getting into project management is a tool that was within Linktivity, but was not immediately compatible with ActAdvantage. I'm not going to bore you with the reasons why. It's talk about server distribution. So we had to refactor a lot of it, and that should be included by the second week of June. Okay, that isn't that long from now, so about 3 weeks. And that will be included, and that's included free in the professional and the ultimate tier, just like accounting integration. You'll notice that customer portal, which I didn't have time to show you, it's a bit of an edge case, but people that use it love it. And then you will see on this tier, you would, if you wanted custom tables and support, they would be $10 a month each, uh, and per user per month. Okay, here it's 50% off for both, and here it's included. So think about it. If you're in the standard tier and you're paying for support and you're paying for custom tables, that's a $20 difference per user per month. For $30, you get them included free. You get all the extra sends, the extra storage, the advanced features of everything. You get the portal, you name it. Okay, so huge advantages versus trying to buy any of these separately without the integration. People can go and they buy MailChimp and they buy Calendly and all of that. And I'm not going to knock any of them other than to say they don't integrate with Act. And that is obviously the key, having all of these features under one pane of glass and commercially included, as part of your CRM cost. Okay. And I think that is pretty much it. So the only thing I'm going to show you left is the cost calculator. So if you go to here, let's say you go to gettheadvantage.net and you click on calculate my costs. We have built an online calculator that allows you to calculate which tier is best for you. Okay, so you can see right now with, none of the options selected, or very few of them. The first one is the best at $40 per month, okay, because we've got Orange Care included. So let's go, we'll add it to 3. This is still highlighted. And now I'm going to add in desktop users, okay. And now I'm going to add in custom tables, still likes the first one, okay. But now take a look at, I'm going to include advanced e-marketing. Boom. The second I add in advanced e-marketing, the per user cost of this goes up. The value here, in fact, the top tier, okay, when I added advanced e-marketing is actually cheaper than the bottom tier. Okay, that's how goofy it is when you add in the e-marketing features a la carte, okay? And then if you go here, okay, you add some extra sends. Now you see that this one is lit up to be the best value. If you say I want full marketing automation, okay, then this is definitely, because otherwise you would be adding $200 to this or $200 to that. So this is a huge cost difference. So this is a useful page to understand the value of, you know, the different components and how they contribute to your monthly cost. Okay. Oh my goodness, we're 18 minutes over. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate your patience. We've ran considerably over. This event is recorded. And I will send it out to everyone that registered. So thank you for your time. I hope this was useful. I hope you understand ActAdvantage and the value included in it a little bit better. But let me let you get back to your day. Thanks again.